is run out. Stewart throwing it to the end zone. The ball's in the air. Caught! Colorado scores! The ball was tipped, and the Buffaloes came up with it.
You know what happened the last time we went to Michigan.
In the Rockies, a rivalry born in the wing of a prayer renewed through two opposites equally protective of their turf.
I don't want them to ever come back and want to run the middle without, peeing in their pants.
A diaper dandy paces his brother toward a Heisman run while a new era parent takes off in the WAC. Top teams take a week off to tune their attacks. The Purple have a case of Deacon Blues, while the Irish preach a new form of ball control.
You squeeze the ball until you hear the ball go psh.
Be very quiet, and you just might hear a ball drop. College Game Day from Boulder, next.
Welcome to the land of the Buffaloes. It's a beautiful Rocky Mountain morning at the foot of the Flatiron, scene of the season's biggest college football game so far. The Michigan fans have invaded as well as Game Day takes to the road for the first time this season. Good morning and welcome. Chris Fowler along with Lee Corso, who did not join Rick Neuheisel on stage for the pep rally last night on guitar, and Kirk Herbstreit. Guys, we'll visit with Peyton Manning later on this morning and plenty on the Buffs-Wolverines showdown. But first, some stuff that we've noticed so far this season, and one watchword so far has definitely been creative scoring. Special teams always play a big role in deciding games, but really an important role in the first 2 weeks. The kicking game decided the first ever Big 12 game. It's incredible, but on average, 2 out of every 3 games so far have featured a touchdown by either special teams or defense. It's important to get one. The teams that get that touchdown are 27-8. Lee, what have you noticed so far?
Well, there's an old axiom that teams that have played have an advantage over teams that have not played. Last week it worked for North Carolina over Syracuse and Wake Forest over Northwestern. But they were exceptions. The experienced teams had a losing record last week.
That is amazing.
How about the new WAC? Already some big wins this year. BYU over A&M in the Pigskin Classic. Last week, 3 non-conference road wins. SMU over Arkansas. TCU beat Oklahoma. How about this stat? As a conference, they're averaging 27 yards per touchdown. That's amazing.
And they've been impressive out of conference. Speaking of the WAC, San Diego State's main weapon is now serving an indefinite suspension. Their star running back, George Jones, will sit out while the school investigates possible violations of NCAA rules. This extends the suspension that Jones served in the Aztecs opener. San Diego State playing at Cal today. Of course, the reason we're here, September's first real heavyweight bout. Number 5, Colorado. Number 11, Michigan. This ball game is something to savor. It's a rarity these days, a major marquee intersectional game. The winner remains alive as a prime contender for the national title. The loser kind of slides to the back burner. It just happens to be a rematch of the most celebrated finish in the last decade in college football. Steve Cyphers sets up the emotional build-up from across the campus at Folsom Field. Steve?
Chris, you're right. There's plenty of emotion surrounding this one, and it's coming from all sides. Last night, Bill McCartney, CU's all-time winningest football coach and the architect of this Colorado-Michigan series, talked to the Buffaloes for about 15 minutes. We're told it was a rather passionate speech. Coach Mack hasn't been around the team much ever since he resigned 2 years ago. Sometime today, before kickoff, the Buffaloes will watch a videotape that was recorded Wednesday in a Detroit hospital. The speaker is Tiger Bussey, a linebacker for the Buffaloes who for the last 2 years has suffered from leukemia. He couldn't be here for this game today, but he is from Michigan, and no one would rather see the Buffaloes win than Tiger Bussey. So the plan is for Colorado to win this game and send him the game ball. Michigan had a guest speaker yesterday at practice, Reggie McKenzie. He's an alum who now plays for the Denver Broncos. There are no key injuries to report. The weather should be just right. Could have a little rain in the afternoon in the second half. Shouldn't be a factor in the game. Chris?
Steve, thank you. After Coach Mack's fire and brimstone speech, Colorado will be emotionally ready. Doesn't mean they're going to play well, though. Bo Schembechler brought back from Michigan, so all the emotional stops being pulled out.
What about Michigan's offense? They've had 2 weeks to kind of polish up after a less than impressive performance against Illinois.
Well, Chris, Michigan must run the ball successfully to have a chance against Colorado. And I'll give you the reason here. Colorado is 48-1-1 when they've held their opponents under 100 yards rushing. So watch Michigan to run the football and then to run bootlegs and play actions to try to confuse the Colorado defense. Michigan's offensive line does a great job of pass protection. The reason Michigan runs the ball so well, the defenses react to the fake of the run. Bootlegs and undercuts will work against Colorado's team speed today. But the secret is, can Michigan every once in a while go for the bomb and get some touchdowns because Colorado's going to score?
Yeah, I think they're going to have to. I think this game is won or lost with big plays, a team that can create and a team that can prevent. For Michigan to really have a chance today, they must be able to create big plays offensively, especially with the passing game. In the first game against Illinois, quarterback Scott Dreisbach looked a little tentative, dumping the ball underneath to the tight end. Only completed 3 passes for 32 yards to his wide receivers. With Colorado planning to attack blitz and play a lot of man coverage on the outside, you're going to see Michigan needs to protect, pass protect well, give Dreisbach time to find his receivers, look for Russell Shaw, Ty Streets, or maybe Charles Woodson to come up with some big plays against that man-to-man coverage.
After 2 weeks to practice, Michigan coaches think Dreisbach will play much better, but this is by far the biggest game of his career. It's also his first real test on the road. Colorado coaches counting on maybe a continued case of happy feet and nerves there. Michigan's offense not the only one to sputter. Alabama's also did. We're kind of used to that. But some normally high-octane offenses also showed some transition problems to the new faces. Hidden behind the 44 points they scored against Duke was the fact that Florida State is now 101st in passing after its opener. It was their worst offensive performance in 15 years, 221 total yards. Thad Busby and Dan Kendra combined for 92 passing yards. Last year against Duke, the Seminoles scored 70 points, amassing 797 yards. This year, special teams and defense won the game.
Right now, we're at the point where our defense is going to have to carry us for a while until the offense starts clicking. I mean, the way they've been playing, I don't think that's a bad idea. I think they can carry us until we come around.
The passing game also plagued Penn State. Wally Richardson was just 11 for 32 with 2 interceptions. In the second quarter, he had 2 separate streaks of 8 incompletions. Lions wide receivers caught only 4 balls. Look for opposing defenses to continue to gang up on Curtis Enos until the air attack gels.
We just got to tie the loose ends of the pass game now. 2 or 3 passes in there, a couple caught, a couple better reads. Things like that, where you get 4 or 5 big plays, makes a big difference in a football game.
Meanwhile, Notre Dame's passing game produced only 3 plays longer than 15 yards against Vandy. Lou Holtz claims that won't change.
We're not going to be a big play football team. It's just going to be impossible to be that type of team. I think we can be a good, solid offensive football team, but we're not going to be a big play team.
More troublesome was the Irish fumbleitis. 7 against Vandy, 4 of them lost. Robert Farmer and Mark Edwards each coughed it up 3 times.
Our fumbles occurred because the ball was either knocked loose or taken loose, which just could not happen. I mean, we would just say you take the ball, you put it in the proper position, and you squeeze the ball until you hear the ball go psh. And when you do that, you back off a little bit. Not complicated.
Well, the Noles have a week off to sort things out. They play NC State a week for next Thursday on ESPN. Lions and Irish have virtual weeks off. They take on Northern Illinois and Purdue. More on Notre Dame coming up. Mike Tirico never takes a week off. He's back in our studios to update other sports news. Mike, what do you have for us?
Well, Chris, right down the road from you in Denver.
Flags. A happy couple on game day morning. Still ahead on the show, a report on Virginia Tech and BC. That Bot Tech defense against a second-time starting quarterback for the Eagles. And the Davis brothers running loose at Iowa State. Troy and his little brother Dare. Take a look at them and we continue.
College Game Day is brought to you by Russell Athletic. For really tough athletic wear that can survive anything, get Russell Athletic. Get tough. And by American Honda, celebrating their 25th anniversary of selling cars in America.
Welcome back to Boulder. In Morgantown today, a battle of bowl hopefuls. The Mountaineers want payback for a game they thought they should have won last year. They get a new star, Kurt.
Well, Chris, with the surprising emergence of freshman running back Amos Zaraway, he's averaging over 10 yards a carry, leads the Big East in rushing. The Mountaineer offense is suddenly dangerous. Don't forget the original strength of this team, the defense, already with 15 sacks on the year and only allowing 25 yards rushing per game. Marcus Crandall's tough, but I think West Virginia beats him.
I agree with you. I think West Virginia wins the game, but East Carolina's quarterback Marcus Crandall recently broke Jeff Blake's career touchdown record. He now has 45. Marcus has a great touch on the football, but he also can run the football. He has 4.5 speed in the 40, and let me tell you, put it down, you guys. Marcus Crandall is the best combination run-pass quarterback in college football today.
What about today?
No, today.
Last week, Donovan McNabb.
Donovan McNabb. What do you mean? Donovan McNabb.
Denver can't run. He can't even throw right there. Denver can't run.
Let me ask you a question. You say West Virginia beats East Carolina. Are they now good enough to beat Miami and Syracuse in Morgantown? They both have to come to West Virginia because the road schedule's pretty soft.
They can beat them because they're strong up front, and you win the games up front. I think West Virginia's got a chance at both those teams.
Purdue, Rutgers, Temple, Virginia Tech on the road. West Virginia, you're saying, could be 10-1, perhaps 11-0 at the end of the season. All right, later today on ESPN, right after game day, Virginia Tech and Boston College. It's the conference opener for both teams. Ken Oxendine out for the Hokies. In primetime, Georgia tries to get on track. They're feeling the heat. They have to visit the Gamecocks of South Carolina. The scoreboard show at 3:30 Eastern, 7 o'clock Eastern, and postgame at 10:30. Coming up, it's the Davis brothers of Iowa State. Together, happy, very dangerous. And Steve Sarkisian, speaking of dangerous, the BYU quarterback, braces for that battle with the Huskies today. That's ahead. Man, folks, getting ready as College Game Day comes to you live from Boulder. Plenty more on the Wolverines and the Buffaloes ahead in the show. Meanwhile, the nation's leading rusher from last year, Troy Davis, part of what's become a cause for Iowa State, ending a 13-year losing streak against the more famous school up the road. Today, former Iowa captain and assistant coach Dan McCarney goes home as the enemy for the first time. He takes with him a pair of running Davises. Troy's little brother Darren has joined him in Ames, and as Chris McKendry reports, that makes Big Brother happier, more driven, and more dangerous than ever.
When Iowa State head coach Dan McCarney arrived in Ames, he convinced an unhappy Troy Davis to stay. What he didn't know was that little brother Darren often follows Troy's lead.
That's like, you know, every time, like in high school, I came and I rushed for 2,234 yards, and he came back and ran for 2,500 or some yards, and, you know, I just couldn't believe it, you know. I came up here in college and I rushed for another 2,010 yards, and now he said, you know, he'll come and top that. So, you know, he just like, you know, just like to come up and just break everything that I do break.
If he go out there and run for 3,000 yards, I got to go run 4,000 yards. It's always a challenge to me and him to do better than each other.
It's funny seeing a big brother carrying him. It's almost like he's carrying his hand as he walks to the practice field, you know, showing him the ropes and the way things are done around here, and he's leading by example.
But 2 years ago, the roles were reversed. Troy logged more minutes on the phone than the field. Homesickness and a winless record left Troy longing for his family.
I just kept on calling Darren, talking to him, and he just kept on hanging up on me.
It was nothing back home for him. And he took care of his business all at home. He played football. He did what he had to do, so what else was home for him? So I told him that I'll stick it out, and I'll be up there pretty soon.
Darren is very mentally strong, and that he didn't want to see his brother be a quote a failure by walking away from something that he truly loved, which was the game of football.
While consoling his brother, Darren was attracting national attention on the field, but no one could match Iowa State's offer, the chance to once again play with Troy.
I'm much more happy, you know, since that he's up here. I don't call home that much now since he's up here, you know.
I think it all starts with the individual, and both of those kids have huge hearts. They're warrior-like mentalities. They're violent on the football field.
A testament to their toughness is their blocking. Earlier in a preseason practice, Troy threw a block and gave a teammate a concussion. A week later, Darren one-upped him. He threw a block and broke a teammate's jaw.
They're both so physical. They're powerful runners. They're powerful blockers. They have speed. They have great open field moves. And the great thing is they both have a tremendous work ethic.
It's just like I can't make no kind of, no kind of mental error out there, because if I do, if I come out of the game, he's going to take over, then, he's going to be the man.
Brothers are brothers, sisters are sisters. They're always close in some way, in some manner, but these two, Chris, are just, it's unbelievable how close they are and how inseparable and how much they want to be with one another, and they don't want to go opposite ways, and they want to stay together, and they want to have success on and off the field together.
But don't let that brotherly love fool you. Even though he's fully supportive of Troy's second run at the Heisman, Darren has his own agenda.
Well, I can't say now because he had a possible chance of winning the Heisman, and I want to win it before him, so...
How good is Troy Davis before he got there? The Cyclones hadn't had a runner in 5 years, averaged more than 50 yards a game. He had about 3 times that. And the leading rusher the year before he got there, a quarterback, Todd Doxson, averaged 2.5 yards a carry.
Well, Chris, this Troy Davis is a great running back, but Iowa's main problem today is containing that quarterback you mentioned, Todd Doxson. This kid really impressed me. He can run the football. He hit 16 straight passes against Wyoming. Iowa wins this game, but Iowa State's a much better football team right now.
Iowa's defense set up all 3 touchdowns in the opener. Hey, it's not going to go to overtime, but if it does, Dan McCarney, you win the toss.
Yeah.
Play defense
first.
second.
Right.
What? First or second?
Second.
You play defense first, take the ball second. I'm mixed up now. You got me mixed up. Another Big 12 team, Kansas State, on upset alert against the mysterious Cincinnati team.
Well, last year it took a
end to several years of misery, a sad end to several decades of leadership. A revered figure in the Ivy League says goodbye.
After 32 years at the helm of Yale football, Carm Koza called it quits Saturday.
I read so much about what I've done for my athletes, but what you don't know is what they have done for me. It's really like having 2 families.
11 of Koza's former assistants went on to become head coaches, including Larry Story at Oberlin College in 1990 and 91. The year after Story left, Oberlin began a 30-game losing streak, the longest in Division III, heading into last weekend. Oberlin's opponent, Thiel, held the second longest winless skid, 22 games. Something had to give. In a sloppy game that featured a combined 11 fumbles, Thiel pulled out the 26-6 win and rang the victory bell for the first time since 1993. How do you get a 1-point safety? NAIA Westminster knows. On a PAT attempt, holder Kerry Freeman bobbled a low snap and decided to throw for the 2-point conversion. West Liberty's Mark Miklaszak picked off the wobbly pass. On the change of possession, enter NCAA Rule 8, Section 3, Article 2. If he had downed it right away, play over. But he fumbled backwards into his own end zone. Westminster could have recovered for the 2-point conversion. But when West Liberty's Diallo Lane recovered, Westminster got 1 point for a safety.
This is going to be great. We could be on national television with this one. Save the clip, please.
Westminster went on to win 13-7, moved to 15th in the NAIA Division II poll, and yes, got on television. The Washington Huskies are no strangers to national attention or hometown adoration. The Huskies have sold 65,918 season tickets for the season, nearly 4,000 more than the Mariners, Sonics, and Seahawks combined. Obviously, Husky football outweighs the Sonics' run for the NBA Finals, the Mariners' race for the wild card, and the Seahawks, well, you get the point.
Coming up on Game Day, Peyton Manning will visit with him and the other team in Tennessee, Vandy, trying for another upset. Plus, we'll explain shower hockey, Manic Matt and Mr. Irons, the linebacker story here in Boulder today.
Yardage battle. That's yardage they get on returns. And also, they can kick field goals in the clutch. And I think this is where advantage goes to Michigan. Remy Hamilton, 2 years ago, was an All-American. He has 47 career field goals. He's kicked 64 out of 68 field goals. Now, let me tell you something. Michigan's got to win special teams, but they got to contain Coy Detmer. I think Coy Detmer is the Joe Montana of college football. I've never seen a guy come back and, boom, throw that ball better than anybody.
Yeah, he can come up with some big plays. But, you know, on the other side of the football, Colorado has had a tendency of giving up the big play. Because of their style, they like to blitz, play a lot of man coverage. They have had a tendency to make some big plays with turnovers and big sacks. But on the other side, they have given up a total of 561 total yards. Half of those yards have come on just 7 plays, so they have given up some big plays today.
I disagree that it's going to be a game of big plays. I think it's right the red zone. Rick Neuheisel, he says he has some special stuff to run down there in the red zone. Michigan's defense is going to give you yards, but you have to cash them into touchdowns. On 3rd down, another key factor against a defense like Michigan's, Colorado over 50% on the season so far. Of course, the buildup of this game has stirred so many vivid memories of certainly the most memorable 6 seconds in the last decade of college football. September 9th, 1994, early evening in Ann Arbor, when the big house fell silent. Of all the ghosts in Michigan Stadium, one will rattle its chains especially loudly this week. The one that lives here at about the 2-yard line, just beyond the hash mark.
Cordell Stewart back to throw. 4, 3 seconds, 2. This will be the last play of the game. He's going to heave it as far as he can. Down deep into Michigan territory. Juggled in the air. And it is called touchdown, Colorado.
It's like an OJ case. It just keeps coming back uglier and uglier, you know. I mean, people prolong it. I mean, we don't think about it. You know, it happened, what, 2 years ago, was it? I can't even remember if it was last year or 2 years ago. Was it last year or 2 years ago? 2 years ago. Jeez.
For some, the memory burns brighter. The ghost has followed them.
I don't think about it until we have to call it in the game, like we did against Philly and the way we did against Green Bay. So, you know, when they did call it, I was like, here we go again.
Flag is down. He caught it. It's caught.
Every once in a while, it comes up, you know, oh, you're Blake. You tipped the ball? Oh, yeah, hey, good job, good job.
After 2 years of European football, Blake Anderson is back in Colorado, coaching receivers and DBs at Lyons High School near Boulder. He runs no tip drills.
People wanted to know what was going on, what happened, was that your man, or, you know, everything, you know, what was going through my mind at the time. You know, I hear it all the time, but, you know, I have to put that play behind me. You know, I can't carry on and let that haunt me through the rest of my career because, you know, one play didn't make Ty Law, one play is not going to break me.
Well, you know what it did? It showed me that how fun and exciting college football really could be. I've never won a championship, you know, since I've been here. No Big 8, you know, no national championship. So there hasn't been, you know, a cause for real big elation. But, you know, that play, I think, showed me what kind of excitement could, you know, come out of big-time college football.
After 3 years as starting free safety, Chuck Winters has made his largest contribution this year as a kick returner. ESPN's request for an interview with him was declined.
First of all, you got a penny, because I said every time somebody asks me this, I'm going to get a penny. And I'd be a millionaire if I could have got all of them. Somewhere, somehow, somebody would ask me, Michael, the Cats. I'd be like, yeah, that was me.
Well, first of all, that play and that game was a long time ago. Someday, when I'm done coaching, I'll reflect on it. Right now, I'm only concerned about Colorado and Boulder and here in a few days. I'm concerned about Colorado in 1996. If you'd like any comments, you can go back and read them from 2 years ago.
Coach Carr has added tip drills to Michigan practice.
That's something that we hadn't done before, but ever since that game, we started doing more.
In 117 seasons, Michigan and Colorado have met only twice. How many rivalries are born in 6 seconds?
What do Michigan fans say? That we were lucky and that they can't wait to get a chance to come out here and, maybe do the same thing to us. And, it's definitely a conversation I try to shy away from because it's usually long-winded.
They get a lot of mileage out of 64 yards here in Colorado. CU still shows the ball from the catch to prospective recruits. 3 Colorado players on the field for the play. 2 Michigan players will start today. Alabama, they take on Vanderbilt. We'll talk about that football game. And a visit with Peyton Manning. He's got the weekend off as far as games, but the Gators come calling next week. That's ahead.
No matter what size facts.
Hey, before the biggest on-campus college football crowd ever gets together, we'll come to you from across the street. College Game Day at 11:30. Yesterday, we talked to Peyton Manning about the build-up, the challenge, and the chance for redemption.
Well, we're excited about the opportunity to play Florida again. I think all teams in the SEC kind of need to pinpoint Florida as their big game, and everybody's chasing Florida. They've won the conference the past 3 years, and we're no different. We want to be where they've been the past 3 years. So obviously last year's going to play a big factor in how we're going to go out and perform. We're going to try and go out and play every single minute of every single half.
Peyton, Florida has beaten Tennessee now 3 years in a row by an average of 21 points. But I saw you will your team over Alabama last year. Do you think you could do the same thing against Florida?
Well, we're certainly planning on it. I mean, obviously, it's a heck of a challenge, and Florida's got as good a team as they've had in years past. But we're going to go out and give it our best shot. But we have a heck of a challenge in playing Florida. There's no doubt about that.
Hey, Peyton, the last year or so, we've been hearing a lot of the hype between Danny Wuerffel and Peyton Manning. How tough has it been for you to focus for this next week or so on just thinking about the team and winning this game rather than a battle with you and Danny Wuerffel?
Well, it hasn't been that hard because when you put some Florida defense on film, that's enough to make you think plenty about. They're real active. Coach Stoops is doing a great job with their guys, playing a lot of man-to-man coverage in a very aggressive style. So I can't get into comparisons and battles with Danny. He's a great quarterback. He's a great guy. I know we'll have a great game next Saturday. So all I'm going to do is worry about their defense.
I know you have confidence in your defense, but knowing that Florida's so hard to stop, does it put extra pressure on you to know that in a shootout, you don't want to give the ball back to the Gator offense? Is it extra pressure knowing you have to get some points almost out of every possession?
Well, we're going to focus on taking care of the football all week in practice, because you can't give Florida anything easy because their offense is going to burn you. So we're going to try and take care of the football, take advantage of our opportunities when we have a chance to score, hopefully put some points on the board because their offense is definitely lethal.
I know we're looking forward to it. I think Spurrier's crew's got Saturday off. What are you doing this weekend?
Well, we're going to practice tomorrow morning, and then I'm looking forward to watching some good college football. I know there's a big one out there in Colorado versus Michigan, so I'm looking forward to watching that.
We thank you for promoing the game. Thanks, Ben. See you next week.
No problem. All right, thanks.
Is he smooth? He wedges a promo in there to the thank you. This is Siesta Saturday for all these teams in the top 10 because next week is really showdown Saturday. Texas have a chance to knock off the Irish in Austin?
I don't think so. I like the Irish, man.
A lot of skill.
What about ASU and Nebraska?
I think ASU needs to start playing better defense. There's not a chance against Nebraska. Not a chance.
Nebraska's going to kill.
All right, guys, relax. You got plenty of time to talk about that next week. Meanwhile, Georgia's had 2 long weeks to think about stumbling in the opener against South. Way to the practice field, you want to see the next great Cougar quarterback. They point out Steve Sarkisian. You watch the guy, he's not big, he's not fast, doesn't have a big arm. Figure, there's got to be some mistake here. Then you watch Sarkisian in a game and you understand. 10 touchdowns in 2 games. Mike Adamle visits with the quarterback at home with the BYU legacy now that he's learned to shed its burden.
Steve Sarkisian is feeling pretty secure these days.
Last year, he put a lot of pressure. He put Steve Young, Bosco, Detmer. He put all those on top of his shoulders, and this year it's like, hey, I'm me. I'm going to go play, do the best job I can, have fun, and just not worry about it as much as he did last year.
I think this year the offense is kind of mine, and I've kind of taken it over, and I feel better about it. I respect the guys more, and they respect me more, and it's just kind of a better relationship for us.
BYU is in A&M territory at the 45. Here's a pass downfield. This one could go, and it's caught for a touchdown.
Sarkisian is the only collegiate quarterback ever to throw for 10 touchdowns before Labor Day. 10 is already half of his total from last year. a performance which points to Sarkisian as the latest product out of BYU's quarterback factory.
If he stays healthy and the team matures and comes along like we think it will, like it should, then yeah, I think Steve will join the ranks as in the category of the other great quarterbacks we've had in the program.
There is no real prototype for a BYU quarterback except when it comes to scrutiny. Steve Young could run. Robbie Bosco was a classic drop-back passer. Jim McMahon, an athletic playmaker. Ty Detmer, scrappy and determined. Sarkisian is accurate, not exceptionally strong, nor fast. Why then success for all?
I think the thing that sets him apart more than anything is decision-making and leadership ability, and that's so how strong a guy's arm is and what he can do and can't do are sometimes not all that important.
It is the system that burdens the quarterback to read defenses, communicate, and execute precisely.
Coverage is such that we very rarely say, okay, you're the primary guy, you're the secondary guy. You're all primary guys. The coverage will dictate who you throw to.
With an inconsistent running game to fall back on, Sarkisian at times has struggled with the requirements.
It's something that was difficult for me coming in from a JC to kind of take charge over guys who have been here for 4 and 5 years. Well, hopefully I think I've become a better leader.
You know, last year, every once in a while, he'd hold on to the football a little bit too long. And now he's getting rid of the ball. He knows where his second, third, and even fourth receivers are, and he's done a great job with that.
So in a season in which names such as Werfel and Manning dominate, Sarkisian steps cautiously into the national spotlight. Some of last year's numbers he'd rather repeat. Third in the nation in total offense. And some he'd rather forget. A whack high, 14 interceptions. One thing he hasn't forgotten is free time last December.
We didn't get to a bowl game, and we don't want to be remembered as a team that broke the streak for the 17th consecutive bowl game. So there's been added incentive, I think, for us, and we've worked very hard in the offseason, and I think it's paying off right now.
Huskies a similar defense to what A&M plays, but they'd better do a lot better job of getting Sarkisian than the Aggies did in that opener. The Huskies' running game has to come around. It was anemic. Rashawn Sheehy, barely 3 yards a carry against Arizona State. They got to play a little better ball control.
Well, if Washington's going to beat Steve Sarkisian, they got to get after him. They got to hit the guy. They got to intimidate him. Because if they let him sit back, he'll eat him up. Washington scores, but BYU gets one more point in an upset.
I think the key to this game, a couple keys, really. Washington is going to have the ability to pressure Sarkisian. But you got to remember, BYU has a big offensive line, and they've done a nice job of protecting him. The other thing is going to be, can these young freshman corners that Washington has, they're going to play a lot of man coverage, and with the schemes that BYU is going to throw at him, that's tough to handle.
Believe it. Husky Stadium is a factor. I know you don't want to believe that. No. Coming up on College Game Day, Wake Forest, hey, they learned how to tear down goalposts down there in Winston-Salem. We'll see if they can pull off the encore. Notre Dame, troublesome turnovers in week 1. Lou Holtz responds as the Irish get set to battle Purdue today. That's coming up. Rick Hotel for somebody. Yep. I know Rick Neuheisel, speaking of rock and rollers, always anxious who you're going to pick. He sent you a message yesterday at the Buff Club luncheon.
Hey, Lee. Hey, Lee. The best news in the world, ladies and gentlemen, is Corso picked Michigan.
That was good. Hey, Rick, Michigan can't possibly beat Colorado. No way. But Colorado can beat themselves with mistakes, penalties, and mental mistakes. Go blue in an upset.
I will say, Coach, I agree with you. I think this game is going to be much closer than the Colorado faithful here believe. Michigan is much better than they showed in that Illinois game. They will use discipline and coaching to stay in the game, but Colorado has too much speed. Coy Detmer wins this game for Colorado.
We'll find out who's right. We'll be here all afternoon with updates. Mike Tirico joins these guys and us at halftime. So long from Game Day in Boulder. We'll see you next week in Knoxville. Boston College takes the field for their home opener and their conference opener against number 19 Virginia Tech, the defending Big East co-champions. Brad Nessler and Gary Danielson to call the game. Tech a second straight road trip to start the season.